Hi guys, I'm Lanson. Today I continue walking around in Bangkok. After visiting many art museums in Europe, I thought I'd just take it easy and not visit any museums here. However, I walked past this modern art center twice. Today is the third time, so I decided to go in and explore for just relaxing. On first floor there's an exhibition about Myanmar history.
2 years into Myanmar.
Like many of you, I didn't know much about this country and the events mentioned in the exhibition were unfamiliar to me. However, I noticed the format of the descriptions next to each painting, which were almost identical to what I saw in European museums and galleries. They used the same font, same layout. Half of it was an artist's native language and the other half in English. The benefit of using a universal language like English is that people from all over the world can easily communicate and connect with each other. For example, I can quickly understand Myanmar's history and culture without relying on any translation tools. If the descriptions were written only in Burmese, I believe that 99% of foreign visitors would pass. In this way, Myanmar would have lost an opportunity to show itself to the world. Unfortunately, many far-right populists in China are stuck in a mindset that against the use of English whatsoever. This kind of thinking is stubborn and ignorant populism. Nowadays, English academic papers accounted for 98% of all publications. Its number is 120 times more than papers written in Chinese language. Competition between great powers is based on basic rules and morals. Even if you have different opinions, everyone is still using the internet and keyboards. However, this far-right Chinese populist is so stupid. Their approach is to ignore all the rules. Let me give you a vivid analogy. Keyboards and internet is not invented by Chinese, so they boycott keyboards. The traditional method that Chinese ancestors used is hanging posters in the square. If you Westerners want to debate or communicate with Chinese, then you have to come to our square with a camera and take pictures of our posters. Then, you go back to your English internet and upload them to the internet, which invented by Westerners. Then, you have to translate them because our posters are obviously written in Chinese. After you understand them, you reply, and then you have to send some people to our square to write big posters in response, in Chinese. We use this method to communicate with each other. We abandon keyboards. The above analogy is that I came up when I was walking around this gallery. Although it is very dramatic and fanciful, it really reflective of the far-right Chinese populist. They do this for only one reason, which is similar to Emperor Qianlong in the Qing dynasty, who insisted on foreign ambassador to kneeling down to him. Basically, he is not pursuing convenience of communication, not for the progress of China. They want to insult foreigners, increase everyone's cost of time and mental exhaustion, in order to satisfy his own pleasure by temporarily riding on someone's shoulders. And especially when that somebody was foreigners. A well-known writer summarized this phenomenon as the spiritual victory behavior, which is Chinese people's inferiority. Their judgment of the pros and cons of a thing is not based on progress or backwardness, but on whether this thing's invented by foreigners or Chinese ancestors. For example, computer coding is based on English. It is a foreigner's thing, so they must hate it and boycott it. Unfortunately, there are still a large number of people who have this mentality. Therefore, they are okay that some dictator is still ruling this country. As a Chinese liberal who agreed with freedom and democracy, it is so hard to us to wake them up. I often emphasized in my videos that other small countries also have excellent aspects. Sometimes we have to admire and praise them honestly. For example, this free exhibitions held in Thailand, a small country that Chinese often mock about. Is it worth our respect and admiration? To me the answer is yes, but to them is no. Many museums inside China, I call it dead water, because it is exactly copied from the history books written by the CCP. They don't dare to change even one single word, otherwise there will be consequences. They might lose their job. Would you say this kind of museum inspiring? I personally don't think so. That's why as a Chinese we should be humble, because in terms of informative and inspiring, we can't even win Thailand, not to mention Europe and America. Many of Chinese people still doesn't know the distance, and they are counting the number of tall buildings in their own city all day and then blindly look down on other small countries. At the top of the museum is another exhibition called Modern Art Festival. I saw the image of Chaplin that I loved since my childhood. In his famous line, I recognized it right away. Now is the first anniversary of the Russian-Ukraine war. I read this line. My heart is full of emotions. Let me rephrase a Chinese old saying. Great dictators often shows up, but Chaplin doesn't. You see, in 1941 he produced The Great Dictator. At that time it was Hitler's prime. He dares to make a movie like this. Not afraid of attacks or even assassin. Today our world is still undergoing through wars. There are still a large number of conservative forces draging us. But sadly no Chaplin stand up. Now even if it's just online, we don't have the danger like Chaplin was facing, but in China is still very little dare to stand up and speak out for the justice in his heart. So when I face the portrait of the mentor that I respect, I'm ashamed. This is the reason why I must make this video. This is my heartfelt salute to him. I have to say the charm of a great work of art is timeless. It's also quite a coincidence. One day later I'm on a plane. I found this movie The Great Dictator on the plane. I think it's destiny and coincidence, so I write the script of this episode.
I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die. And the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!